You know, I like to say that because I believe that we are. We have a lot of things going for us that many of us don't realize, and many of us really never use all the things that we have going for us and ever act on the things that we'd like to act on. And consequently, most of us go through life sleepwalking, never really discovering our true potential, never enjoying life to its full extent. And so, therefore, I think that there are some things that we need to begin to do to take charge of our destiny. How many of you like to take charge of your destiny? Raise your hand, please. Very good. All right. So we're going to do that. And one of the things that really stimulated this, I was with a friend of mine. We were riding back after I'd spoken to her company, and they had a major downsizing. Now they call it right-sizing, when companies reduce the workforce for economic reasons. Well, at any rate, when we were on the plane and she said, I'm no longer going to be with the company. And I said, no. I said, why? She said, well, my division has been eliminated. I said, well, you do have another plan, don't you? And she said, no. I said, but didn't they have something of this nature about a year ago? She said, yes. I said, but did you start thinking that maybe perhaps you need to prepare to do that which you really wanted to do? Because this person that I've known for a long time always wanted to be involved in fashion design. So I said, haven't you been doing something on your fashion designing career? She said, no. I said, but what have you been doing? She says, hoping that nothing happened to me. I said, but hoping is not a process. It's not a method. A lot of people go through life like that. Now, that wasn't really what she wanted to do. But I do a training seminar, and one of the things we ask, what would you do if the unthinkable happens to you? What would you do? If you had an accident, or you lost your job, or you were laid off, or you became ill, how would you provide for yourself if the unthinkable happens to you? And it doesn't always happen to the other person. It can happen to me, it can happen to you. But most of us go through life thinking that, well, just maybe it won't happen to me. That we'll just read about somebody else that it will happen to us. Talking to a friend of mine by the name of Maria, who is wheelchair bound, and she said that she had an experience in her life that taught her that she's not immune from life, because she was diagnosed as having muscular dystrophy at age 15, and she figured that was tragic enough. But 2 years ago, because of a malfunctioning wheelchair, she fell out of a van, struck her head, and suffered a closed head injury. Had blood on the brain, and they said that she perhaps might go blind, or she have loss of memory or concentration. And I said, how did you handle that? She said, Les, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I said, why? She said, because on that day, I woke up and I realized that life is about today. Living today. That whatever I want to do, I do it right now. She said, I enjoy getting up in the morning, looking out of the window, just looking at the grass. She said, because I could have lost my vision. She said, I'm appreciative of just the little things. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, be thankful for the little things.
Good morning, Les. How are you?
I'm great and grateful. Let the record show. I love that. Yeah, be thankful for the little things. That brings you to a very good point. Yes. How are you doing this morning?
I'm wonderful. And that was my first time seeing that speech, and that was amazing.
Thank you. And I tell you, it triggered some memories. I can't wait to share with people what I got out of it, because my life was in a different place. I was several pounds smaller. I'm going back there, though. I'm releasing, not losing, but I'm releasing weight. Anything you lose, you go look for it.
I heard that. That's an awesome way.
Yes.
Well, we're going to switch stuff up a little bit today. And what we're going to do is, first, we want to know where you guys are watching us from. We've been having such a fun time seeing where everybody watches us from. But I'm going to get out of here for a little bit, because you have been saying some amazing things. And I want people to just really, we're going to make this show a little bit shorter, because I think if we're doing it as much as we are, let's get to the good stuff, to the meat and bones. So we're going to make this show a little shorter. Les is going to give you an awesome motivational message, and then we'll come back and answer a couple questions. So start throwing your questions in there, but also let us know where you're watching from. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, sir. You're on board.
All right. Thank you so very much. I want you to think about your life right now. at all the stuff that's going on. And here's what I want to share with you, that we have the power. The power is in our hands in spite of Corona, in spite of everything that's happening, all the confusion that's coming out from the politicians and the health professionals. We have the ability to control how we deal with it. And from that perspective, I want to talk to you about a friend of mine. His name is Reverend Mike Jones. Mike, he lives in Philadelphia. Mike Jones, at 5, because of a medical mistake, it left him blind. And Mike, he refused to allow that to limit him. Mike is an entrepreneur. He's a pastor. He's a father of 6 children. And he's very much involved in the community. And he had an argument with a guy one day. And something came out of that, and I want you to think about it. And particularly those of you that say, well, I don't have a story or want to speak, or you want to learn how to tell a story. I want to share with you this story that I witnessed that will give you some techniques and strategies and ideas on how to create a story that will have application and meaning and value for people. So Mike was going back and forth arguing with this guy, dealing with a business deal. And all of a sudden, his wife, the gentleman who was arguing with Mike, said, don't talk to him like that. He's blind. And this guy said, but he doesn't act like he's blind. That's key. He doesn't act like he's blind. He talks like he can see me. Wow. Wow. What's key there? Because you're going through some stuff, because you've been stripped of some stuff, because you've lost your vision or you lost your ability to do certain things physically, because you've lost your home, lost your job. You don't have to act like that. That's key. Mike never act like he's blind. He acts like he can see. And in fact, he had a guy driving him around and he was selling fruits and vegetables in Philadelphia. And the guy was driving him around. He had the responsibility of collecting the money. And so when he was collecting the money, see, when you lose one ability, you have another ability that's enhanced, that's strengthened. Like, for instance, in terms of me, it's challenging for me, and I'm watching my language, to do spot read. That is, where somebody just puts something up and you read it. But if I hear it, I can give it back to you. And so he lost his sight, but his hearing has been intense. And so this guy who was driving Mike around, and Mike would say, cantaloupes, watermelons, grapes. This is his entrepreneurial business that he started, that he had the city to get him a truck. And the way he got the truck, he called the people every day at City Hall in Philadelphia. And finally, one lady said, let me ask you something. If we get you this truck, would you promise us not to call here anymore? Will you promise? I want you to promise me. If we get you this truck, you won't call here anymore. He said, I promise. Just get me the truck. How you gonna drive it? I'll get somebody to drive it. Because they were wondering, how you gonna drive a truck and sell fruits and vegetables and you are blind? So sure enough, he got somebody to drive him around. But on this particular day, had a very profitable day. This guy getting ready to give Mike his money, counted the money, and decided he was going to pocket some of the money. And Mike could hear him when he stopped to start moving the dollars. He could hear him. And he said, hey, man, I want all my money. And this guy said, oh, no, I'm giving you all your money. I just had some of your money mixed up with my money. And Mike said, no. And so when you are blind, you fold the dollars, the fives, the tens, the ones in certain fashion so you can count the dollars, all right? And so Mike knew that this guy at this time was trying to rip him off. Now, so first of all, here's the point that I'm making. Number one, the first point is you don't have to act like where you are. Act like where you're going. Don't act like I've lost a job and you're down in the dumps and things are looking bad for you. Act like, hey, things are looking up. They're looking good. Why? That's a different vibration. That's a different energy. Nobody wants to deal with you when your energy level is low. When I was going through an experience after losing my job in radio, I got dressed every day like I was going to the radio station. Why? I wanted to look at like I was there already, not that I was out looking for a job. I was looking like I am still the man. I'm still the dude. The microphone does not define me. Your job does not define you. You were looking for a job when you got that one. And there's something else out there with your name on it, either another business with your name on it or another job with your name on it or a partner that you can get together with and you can create something or an idea or a concept that's looking for you. Because whatever you're looking for, it's looking for you. And you have to operate from a mindset of knowing that, even though you have no evidence to support it, even though you have nothing to point to. But your mindset must be one, there's something here that's got my name on it. You are the money. Understand that you are the money. And so here we are, this guy deciding he's going to rip Mike off. That was not a good idea. Mike Jones, even though he is blind, Mike can fight. He told me, man, I got a good right. He said, and I'm strong too. And so what he did was he realized the guy was going to try and rip him off and he was going to quit and take Mike's money. And I want you to write this down. I'm not having it. See, there's some things in life that will attempt to rip you off. People, individuals, opportunities, systemic, oppressive policies of all kinds. There are some things in life that's going to happen that's designed to rip you off. And you've got to decide, I'm not having it. I want what I deserve, and I'm willing to fight you for it. I'm not having it. I might not can see, but we're close in proximity here in this truck. And so Mike was just waiting to hear this guy move his hands on the dollar to count 1, 2, 2 for him, 1 for Mike. And as soon as he could detect that this guy had both hands on the money, Mike grabbed him. Let me tell you something. He didn't even know where to swing, but he grabbed him and held him and felt his hand going on the steering wheel and started blowing the horn. I'm blind. He's robbing me. I'm a blind man. He's robbing me. Help, help. I'm a blind man. He's robbing me. And help came rushing to the truck and said, what's going on here? I'm blind, man. I'm a blind man. He's trying to take my money. Help, somebody help me. Come on now. Let me back up right here. See, when you decide I'm not having it, and there's something that you have decided that you're not going to take this from me. No, this is going to be a fight up in here. And when you alert people that you need some help, there's some people that will come to your aid, and there are people who came to his aid, who grabbed that guy and said, "Hey, man, don't take this man's money. He's a blind man. Don't do that." And he gave him a number to call so that somebody who he knew could come and get him and take over the driving to get him home. And without his money being ripped from him, and that guy was left wherever he was. And so there are times in your life when you have got to stand up for yourself, even though you can't see your enemy. There are times in your life that you have got to fight. One of my favorite movies by Paul Newman, the millenniums, they don't know anything about Paul Newman. This movie is called Cool Hand Luke. Oh, come on, somebody. Somebody knows about Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman. And there's a fight scene in there. I love that movie because of this fight scene where Cool Hand was fighting a guy that was larger than he was, taller than he was. And every time this guy knocked Cool Hand down, Cool Hand would get back up. And everybody, first of all, they're saying, fight him, Cool Hand, fight him. And then he get knocked down again. After a while, they got tired and say, oh, man, you got no chance of winning. And then everybody walked away, including the guy who had been knocking Cool Hand Luke down. But Cool Hand, when everybody was walking away, Cool Hand was still swinging, eyes closed, swollen. You got to see this to really, really appreciate that. That's me. Cool Hand Luke. People know, how did you get here? I just kept on fighting. I kept on swinging. You have got to decide. I will persist, as Armandino would say. I will persist until I succeed. I just keep on. You got to keep on fighting. Why? Because you've got to be stronger than the forces. You got to be stronger than the adversities. You've got to be stronger than anything that's trying to keep you down. And that's how Mike lives his life. That's how he lives his life. He doesn't live like a blind man. You will never find Mike outside of a Walgreens with a cup begging for somebody to drop something in the cup. Mike, he employed people. Mike creates jobs. Mike is a pastor. Mike is an entrepreneur. Helen Keller said, the only thing worse than being blind is having eyes and no vision. Mike has vision. What's your vision for yourself? How do you see yourself? There are a lot of people right now who see themselves as victims. No, some things happen to you, but at the same time, if you change the vision you have of yourself, you'll see that it happened for you. Every job that I was fired from, it turned out to be a blessing. That life had something else more for me. That it turned out that it did not happen to me, it happened for me, that job was removed because I didn't have enough courage or insight to know that I had outgrown that job and it was time to move on. There are 50 million people that are panicked, 50 million people that's hoping to get a $600 check, as opposed to working, action, despite the distraction, as Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant would say, to create a bigger check of $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. It's about reinventing yourself. It's about what is your vision of yourself. See, there's something that we call the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is a network-like group of cells at the base of the brain. And the way that it operates, it's a filter. Listen to me, follow me. It's a filter. And if you are the kind of person that you feel that you are worth at least $20 an hour or $25 an hour, and you're working on a job and they say to you, you know what? Things aren't looking good now. We're going to have to cut your salary down to $10 an hour. There's something in you who will say, I know you're going through some tough times. I'm not going to work for that. I can do better than that. That's that reticular activating system that measures, that detects your sense of worth. If you're in a relationship and somebody start treating you like you're less than, you say, no, you know what? No. I have a friend of mine, she broke up with this guy. And I said, what happened? She said, he slapped me. I said, whoa. And she went on to say something else. She said, I heated some hot grits. Come on, Al Green, hot grits. She said, and I just waited till he went to sleep. She said, you know what? I said, what? When I threw those hot grits on him, he never hit me again. I threw those hot grits on him and I left there. She said, I was the wrong one. I'm not having it. You're not going to hit me. You're not going to go upside my head. No, you're not going to put me in my place. I am no child. But not only did he slap her, but because she's small, he put her across his lap and had one leg to trap her, and he beat her with a belt. He spanked her. Okay. And so she said, she pretended to cry and hurt. It didn't hurt. But she was crying because she said, when he lets me go and he go to sleep tonight, I'm going to light his behind up. And she didn't say behind. I'm a baby Christian, but you know what she said. I said, why did you use grits? She said, because it sticks. Woo! I said, you know what? You got to slap the right one. Oh, my God. Oh, I remember my mother said she was dating this guy. We called him Daddy. And she said that this is before she came to Miami. She was in Stuart, Florida. And she said he hit her. He hauled off and hit her because he was very jealous. A guy spoke to her and she was singing in this club. And he hit her in the eye. I said, Mama, he hit you in the eye? She said, yeah. I said, what did you do? She said, I'll wait till he went to sleep. And I'm thinking, you know what? She must have known this lady. And she said, when he went to sleep, she popped him in the eye. Bam! And she left. And she said, when he saw her several weeks later, he said, Mamie, I'm so sorry. She said that eye was still swollen and started twitching when he got near her. She said, I bet you he hit nobody else in the eye that go to sleep. See, you got to get to a point in your life when things are falling apart and things look like it's disastrous and that you have no choices. You do have a choice. And the first choice you have is how you respond. To get still and know that you're going to get through this, to get still and know that you are stronger than this, to get still and know there's some other options. Don't stop. Don't spend time getting angry. Spend time and energy figuring out, what am I going to do to deal with where I am right now? That's what you have to focus on. Don't look at the bills. They're not going to evaporate. They will be there, and they're going to come faster. Trust me, you'll be saying, didn't I just pay this? I learned a long time ago the best way to get back on your feet is to miss 3 car payments. I'm not making this up. No, I'm not, all right? And but this is a time that you want to think. This is the time. I'm not telling you to, if you're a victim of domestic violence, I'm not telling you to put some hot grits on the stove. I'm not saying that now. I'm just joking, but I'm serious. But when you look at things that people are dealing with right now, there's something in you that says, I deserve more. That's that reticular activating system. It's designed after the human mind. And there's a missile that we created, the military. I don't know if it's still around. It's called the teleological missile. And the reason they called it the teleological missile, it was different kind of technology had been introduced. If it's released, if the target goes to the right, the teleological missile would go to the right. If the target goes to the left, the teleological missile will go to the left. Listen to me. It's designed after the human mind. Once the teleological missile is released and the target that it was going after vanishes for whatever reason, the teleological missile will self-destruct. See, We are energy. And that energy will be used productively or in a destructive way. And so when people who don't have goals and dreams that they're using their energy for to achieve, they engage in self-destructive behavior, watching a lot of movies, a lot of porno, using the time that they have on the planet in a self-destructive way, abusing people and hurting themselves. We were created by the Creator to create. And when you're not in a mode of creating, you're in the mode of destructing. In life, this thing called life, you're either saying hello or goodbye. You're either doing something productive, you're manifesting and producing something, or you're a minus, you're a liability. When you leave here, we have to do a GoFundMe to bury your behind. And all of us, no matter what's going on, we're stronger than anything that has happened to us. We're stronger. And once you make up your mind, I'm not having it. I'm not going out like this. No, this is not me. See, there's some people, they're fine living in squalor. There's some people, they're fine with wasting their lives, drinking it away, smoking it away. Oh, well, it's legal now, so I can smoke as much marijuana as I want to. Okay, very good. It's legal now. Oh, I don't need a mask. This is America. Okay. All right. But there's some people, a small number. That's why I said the road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. Because few there be that are willing to discipline themselves. Few there be that are willing to persevere. Few there be that are unstoppable. Few there be that will find a way and make it happen no matter what. Mamie Brown, when my adopted mother said to my birth mother, I will never separate them, they will never go to bed hungry, they will always have a roof over their head, and they will always have clothes on their back. Those were not just empty words. Was it easy for her to raise 7 children by herself? No. But she made it happen. This is the time that you have to be a no matter what person. That you have to focus on the solutions, not on the problem. You have to focus on the way out. Focus on how do I maximize the access that I do have. Focus on your strengths, not your liabilities. Focus on what is it that you have going for you, as opposed to the things that you have working against you. And use what you have. That's where we are. This place, this strange place, is different. And you don't have time to park and say, wow, can you believe this? Believe it and keep moving. Keep moving. Find a way to make it work for you. Keep moving. There's opportunities available all around you. Continue to look. The price of freedom is constant vigilance. The price of financial freedom. The price of being able to reinvent yourself, to rethink your life, to take yourself to another place is constantly looking out, looking for other opportunities, looking for people with talents, abilities, and skills and resources, and behind doors that you need to get behind. That's what time it is. There's no time to be sitting around waiting on a check. If the check comes, good. But it doesn't come, you want to be in a position where you can take the check and just put it aside. That you don't need it. You might want it, but you don't need it because you're too busy creating multiple streams of income. And it's better to have multiple streams of income and not need it than to need it and not have it. got something special. Those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, they shall be filled. You know how many people need your knowledge, need your expertise? 50 million people who are looking for an opportunity, who have some knowledge, abilities, and resources that you can partner up with and explore some new possibilities. This is the time to throw your net on the other side. This is an incredible time of opportunity, incredible time. Out of crises come incredible inventions, incredible business ideas through the inspiration of desperation. This is your time. Affirm that. Call forth those things that be not as though they were. This is my time. Affirm that to yourself. Good things are supposed to happen to me. Affirm that to yourself. Call forth those things that be not as though they were. There's power in the tongue. There's power. Nothing happens until it's spoken. And sometimes you got to speak to yourself, saying, I'm going to master this. I'm going to get through this. I'm on top of this. I'm on top of my game. This is going to bring the best out of me, or it's going to bring the beast out of me, but I'm not having it being a slacker, not giving my all under all situations, all circumstances. This is just who I am. And I can share with you when I came into radio and I was the program director and I was the morning personality and I was the production manager and I did the commercials and I sold commercials. People say, why are you doing all those things? Because I can. Full of versatility with nothing but ability. And when they fired me, I didn't have to worry. Somebody, Jim Irvin, who had been watching and observing me doing editorials against police brutality. This is 1975. Say, hey, I'd like for you to help me to recruit people to join the Communication Workers of America. I knew anything about organizing and building up the membership of unions, but he heard my voice. When you can communicate, you can call attention to yourself. It establishes credibility when you can express yourself. It helps to be able to hold people's attention. Last night, when former First Lady Michelle Obama spoke, people listened. Why? Because she can communicate. When you can communicate, it makes a difference. It's your superpower. And so taking the time, I never forget when I saw Mike Williams, and I encourage you to get this book. Just get it for yourself. Invest in yourself. Don't spend a lot of time looking at how many people are dying. If your name has not been called yet, you will know it. If you woke up this morning and you have a pulse, it's the best day of your life. You don't have to turn on CNN and see whether or not you're number 152,000. No. You're here because of God's grace and mercy. No. Your number has not been called yet. No. There's still work for you to do. No. You are still positioned because you have life to be a blessing to somebody or thousands of people. And when you see it like it, this is a time that you don't want to be casual. You got to pick up your pace. This is a time you want to live intentionally with a different level of energy. This is a time you don't want to be casual about your dream. This is a time you got to have the mindset, my dream is necessary. No. You got to pull yourself together. It's a different kind of place that we're in right now, that demands the greatest that is in us. And it's there. Your greatness is there, lying dormant, waiting for you to tap into it. It's there. I remember a period in my life when I, I went, and I told this story, somebody asked me to tell it again. I went to see Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz. I talk about this in my book. And I've always loved great orators, Marcus Garvey. Rise up, you mighty people. Malcolm X, by any means necessary, Dr. King. I have a dream. I've always loved great orators and reading about them. Frederick Douglass, if a man does not have enough gumption to lock his knees, when you let him go, his head is going to hit the pavement. I've always loved reading the works of great orators. Winston Churchill, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it. Ignorance may deride it. But at the end, there it is. I love reading powerful words. And when I went to see Malcolm X, I was spellbound. And when he explained his last name, his name was Malcolm Little, but the X was, I eliminated the slave master's name, Little. And I'm in the 5th grade at Douglas Elementary School and sitting in the audience watching him. And I decided, I got this brilliant idea. My name is no longer Leslie Brown. My name is Leslie X. When I went to school the next day, Miss Hunter, Leslie Brown, they called the roll. I don't know if they still do this in school. I did not answer. Students around said, she called your name. That's not my name. Leslie Brown. She's calling you, ma'am. Didn't I tell you that's no longer my name? And she looks at, I know you're there. I see you. Leslie Brown. I looked at her like she was out of her mind. That is not my name. She came and stood in front of my desk. Leslie Brown, and leaned forward. I said, that is no longer my name. What is your name, young man? My name is Leslie X. That's what my name is. Call me by my name, Leslie X, and I'll say present. Does Miss Mamie know that your name now is Leslie X? I don't know. Okay, we're going to take a little pause right now. I want y'all to work on some of the problems I gave you. I'm going to call your mother. Be my guest. And she went and called my mother. When I was going home on 5th Avenue, as I crossed 10th Street, my sister Margaret Ann saw me. Leslie, she started running toward me. Please change your name back to Leslie Brown because Mama's going to kill you. I talk about this in the book. You gotta get it. It's called. Because this old timer gave me some leaves. He said, if you put these leaves in your pocket, you'll never get another whooping. Because I used to beat all the old men in checkers. I was precocious when it came to playing checkers. They would be lined up to play me. And during that time, you had to be home before the lights went out. When the lights started getting dark, Mama would go out, Leslie! Wesley! Margaret Ann, she would start calling before the lights would come on, all right? And I was always late going home and would have to get a beating. I remember Wesley would say, why don't you do the right thing? I said, Wesley, you ought to do something. Why don't you just stay up late with me and play checkers? I said, they think something's wrong with me. He said, there is something wrong with you. So when I got to the door, I was so confident. I had my leaves, my anti-whipping leaves in my pocket. And Mama, who was at one time married to a guy who practiced judo in the military, she flipped me and started whooping me. Leaves are flying everywhere, and I'm saying, Mama, the leaves, the leaves. Oh my God. Oh, when I look back, I was a touched child. This thing called life. Next day they called, Leslie Brown, present. Present. Yeah. That lasted for 24 hours. Leslie X, whatever. Hello. This thing called life. When I look around, you wonder how I got here. Because of God's grace. Sometimes we don't know how strong we are until we have to go through some stuff. You're stronger than you realize. You have greatness in you. And the most important power, as artificial intelligence is going to remove 47 million jobs, we've come to a place, there's a book called The End of Work, 500 pages. 51 jobs eliminated because of the coronavirus. Even more. What's your superpower? Your voice. Your ability to present yourself. Your ability to make a point. Your ability to sell yourself, your ideas. I have a nephew, and James at 38 went blind, lost his sight, just around 3 years ago. James now plays the stock market. He plays the stock market. He's not waiting for a $600 check. He's been taking classes on how to play the stock market. He didn't call, hey, uncle, would you help me? He figured it out. There are people going through some stuff right now. Guess what? There are people who are figuring it out. And as we look at ourselves and look at where we are, there's a level of resiliency. When you work on your mind, listening to positive stuff, turning off, as my daughter, Dr. Ona Brown, she says, the television, because you don't want all that negative stuff in your mind. It blurs your vision of what's possible for you. You want to feed your mind positive things that will uplift your spirits, that will empower you, that will strengthen you. The thought, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. Socrates, what lies before us and what lies behind us is of small consequence to what lies within us. Yes, we must be stronger than the forces that are trying to keep us down. We must be stronger than the forces that are trying to rip away our rights and compromise the quality of our lives. We must be stronger and more determined to fight now than ever before. We have to be in this place, say, we're not having it. No, that ain't happening. Take America back again, yeah? You might run over here, but you're going to limp back. That's not happening. Oh, behave. Hello.
Well, Les, we went double the time because your message was so good today.
Well, thank you so very much. For those of you that want to strengthen your superpower, I want you to put voice in the comment section. Voice in the comment section. At this stage, my goal is to train and help develop messengers of hope and entrepreneurs who are ready to grow their brand and develop a national reputation. and global reputation, those who have a story and want to tell their story and reach the masses. I want you to put voice in the comments section.
And if you're on LinkedIn, go to this link. So voice on Facebook and LinkedIn, go to this link. All right, sir, wrap us up.
Well, if you want to amplify your business and call attention to yourself, tell them the name of your business, Aaron.
I own a marketing business, LillianJamesCreative.com. So we just help get your voice out there.
That's right. Say it again.
LillianJamesCreative.com. I have that right here, actually, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, you know what? I didn't even make one for us. But so, there it is. LillianJamesCreative.com.
Yeah. Fantastic. Here's something I'd like for everybody to think about. You were born unique, but most people die copies. Decide that you're going to rob the cemetery of your gifts and talents, as Dr. Miles Monroe would say. Use your talents and abilities to make a difference, to live a life that will outlive you. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. Thank you. Talk to you tomorrow.
We'll see you later. Bye.